Now at 6, another shooting by federal agents in Minneapolis. What led up to this shooting and why federal officials say the officer shot in self-defense. And one of the suspects shot by Border Patrol agents last week in Portland has pleaded not guilty. We'll break down his charges and when the other suspect is set to appear in court. Plus,
I'm willing, not happy, but willing to do this in service of this institution.
That's your new Portland City Council president, but he's not exactly thrilled about the new job. Jimmy Dumpy ended up in the role after 13 rounds of voting. Coming up as your News at Sunrise starts right now. Good morning, and thank you for joining us on your Thursday. I'm China Green. Rod Hill, Chris McGinnis standing by for a look at your weather and traffic.
Hey, good morning. Different ball game today, as the old saying goes. Yesterday was all about the fog. It was widespread. It was dense. It was one of the foggier mornings we see. This morning, the only thing showing up on our reduced visibility map of any note is down around McMinnville. Currently, the visibility in this little pocket down in Yamhill County is being reported at better than a mile, so not horrible. In fact, great visibility looking at the state capitol in Salem. 41 is your temperature. Low clouds, so if you live up in elevation, this shows you the West Hills, but it could be the same in areas like Mount Scott, even on the east side. Some foggy conditions. 43 is the number. Today, east winds already starting to pick up. They will blow into the valley in the coming hours. So we will clear during the AM hours. It will be clear at noon. We could be as warm as 50, and then we'll be in the mid-50s with clear skies when the kids get out of school. East winds gusty, especially over in East Clark and Multnomah counties. Chris?
Rod, it certainly looks a whole lot better than it does yesterday. We can see the road, which we could not yesterday. Let's take you to Vancouver, the I-5 southbound I-5 commute. Did I just repeat myself? Yes, the I-5 commute at SR14 rolling right along over the interstate bridge right now. We've got a speed limit clip on that side of town. Quick check of the Banfield. That looks pretty good, as does the trip through Wilsonville. Again, we're getting a little bit busier, but so far, no unexpected freeway delays right now. We are rolling along at a speed limit clip early on this Thursday morning. China, back to you.
Thank you, Chris. We start with new developments in Minneapolis. Another person was shot last night by a federal agent during an immigration mission after the fatal shooting of Renee Good last week. Now, federal authorities say that the person shot last night was hit in the leg and survived. Homeland Security says that this all began when federal officers stopped a person from Venezuela who was in the U.S. illegally. Now, they said that the person drove off, then crashed into a parked car in the residential area before they got out and made a run for it. When officers caught up with them, DHS says 2 other people came out of an apartment and all 3 started attacking the officer, including with a shovel and broom handle. That's when federal officials say that the officer fired the shot in self-defense. While the mayor of Minneapolis acknowledged that there's still a lot of unknowns here, he said the immigration crackdown in his city is not sustainable.
This is already the second shooting that we've had in a week. People are scared. The atmosphere is tense. But again, there is another option. We can stop going down this route together.
While still demanding ICE leave the city, the mayor also asked the public to remain peaceful. The man shot by federal agents is now in the hospital, and 2 others who allegedly attacked the officer are in custody. In an update, one of the suspects shot by a Border Patrol agent in southeast Portland last Thursday pleaded not guilty in federal court to charges that include aggravated assault of a federal officer. Court records say that Luis Nino Moncado appeared anxious during what Homeland Security says was a targeted traffic stop. They say he repeatedly rammed an unoccupied Border Patrol vehicle, and an agent fired 2 shots at Nino Moncado and his passenger, Yolanda Zambrano Contreras. They drove off. Federal prosecutors say both were in the U.S. illegally and have alleged ties to a Venezuelan gang. Our sister station in Seattle talked with Zambrano Contreras at the ICE Detention Center in Tacoma. Reporter Sharon Yu shares some of her experience.
When I got inside the visitation booth, it was like a prison-style visitation booth. So that meant it was 2 telephones facing a wall, and there was a plexiglass in between us, but I could see her, and she told me that she was doing okay. She showed me her gunshot wounds. There was 1 wound to her left chest and 3 under her right chest, and there was a little bit of a language barrier, but I think she was telling me that 2 of the wounds that she had on her right side were from shrapnel, but I could see that she was healing okay, and again, she told me she was also feeling all right.
Now, she adds that Zambrano Contreras is held in Tacoma because it has the largest ICE detention facility in the Pacific Northwest, and it's routine for folks detained in Oregon to be brought up there to fight their immigration case. Zambrano Contreras is set to make her first court appearance virtually tomorrow. Authorities say 2 young boys are now in custody in connection with the killing of a convenience store employee in southeast Portland. Now, the case has deeply shaken the community as both suspects are so young, one not even a teenager. Sunrise reporter Corey Johnson joins us live with the details on those arrests. Corey.
That's right, China. Police say they arrested a 12-year-old and 15-year-old boy in Vancouver yesterday in connection to this deadly shooting at 3D's Market in the Hazelwood community. Early on this morning, you can see a memorial placed outside the market for that victim involved in that case. The 12-year-old is charged with first-degree murder, while the 15-year-old faces second-degree murder and robbery charges. Police say the victim, 33-year-old Santi Ram Ray, was shot and killed at the market on Southeast 139th back in December. Officers found him with a gunshot wound when they arrived at the scene, and he later died at the scene as well. Now, Ray was a translator for the Bhutanese community, his death prompting an outpouring of grief from neighbors and customers who knew the husband and father of 2. Right now, police have not released details about what exactly led up to the shooting. Now, both minors are also facing charges related to possession of a stolen firearm and a stolen car. Those suspects arrested were taken to Robert L. Harris Juvenile Justice Center in Vancouver, where they remain this morning. China?
Our Corey Johnson reporting live for us this morning. Thank you, Corey. The Salem man who pleaded guilty to killing his ex-partner was sentenced to life in prison late Wednesday. The crime was discovered after a 40-year-old Tyler Holman right there got into a crash in Polk County January 2024. As he was being taken to the hospital, authorities say a tow truck driver found the body of his ex wrapped in plastic, which had been flung from the car during the crash. Investigators later learned that 34-year-old Ashley Gandolfi had died from a gunshot wound to the head. Her mother was among those who spoke in court yesterday.
Our outlook on life has changed drastically since Ashley's murder. I've lost my love of gardening, all my hobbies, my smile, and a big piece of my heart. Each morning I wake up to the awful reality that Ashley is gone, and I relive the shock and pain all over every day.
As part of a plea deal, Holman admitted to second-degree murder and will be eligible for parole after 25 years. A federal court has agreed to drop a lawsuit from the Trump administration after it sued Oregon and several other states for not handing over voter registration data. They wanted voter information like birth dates and driver license numbers as part of the administration's efforts to prove unsubstantiated claims that large numbers of undocumented immigrants have been illegally voting. Oregon filed to have the case dismissed, arguing that the states are not required to provide highly sensitive information to the federal government. Governor Tina Kotek has appointed former Republican State Senator Tim Knopp as Oregon's first Chief Prosperity Officer. The position is part of a plan aimed at boosting the state GDP and adding jobs. Knopp's selection marks a rare bipartisan appointment by a Democratic governor. Portland City Council has a new president after some dramatic deadlock, multiple meetings, and 13 rounds of voting. And as Blair Best explains, the winner didn't even want the job.
Deadlock.
This is going to keep going.
After deadlock.
This is just profoundly unserious at this point.
After deadlock. 13 rounds of voting over 3 meetings. A divided Portland City Council painfully struggled to agree on who should lead as council president.
We are in a crisis. This is a crisis of leadership.
Insults flew.
Last week, Councilor Murillo leveled one of the most grievous insults anybody can level against anybody, against me and Councilor Clark.
And emotions took over.
I feel emotional hearing that because I actually feel really hurt, Councilor Novick, that you haven't said a single word to me or asked how I'm doing in the last couple of days too.
The candidates, Councilors Ilana Pertolgini, Samir Kanal, Loretta Smith, and Steve Novick. And in a last-minute nomination, Councilor Jamie Dunphy.
I'm going to nominate Councilor Jamie Dunphy from District 1.
He reluctantly accepted.
This is not something that I have been seeking and is not something I am excited about.
Just before 1:30 Wednesday afternoon, Council elected Dunphy as the new president. He received 9 votes.
I'm willing, not happy, but willing to do this in service of this institution.
Council president duties include running council meetings, setting the agenda, and the seating chart.
I will use this role to distribute power, not consolidate it, to build systems that treat each of us the same and protect this council as an equitable body for our colleagues and our constituents. I really don't want this to be a yearly ritual of hardened battle lines. This has hurt my heart.
At one point Wednesday, Councillor Smith threatened to sue the city over the ongoing stalemate, arguing the mayor should be the tie-breaking vote.
I would like to ask that we get a declaratory judgment from a judge to view our charter.
Turning to sue the city over this is just, it's very disappointing.
Portlanders are watching us, and they deserve better than a council that appears unwilling or unable to make decisions about its own leadership.
And that was Blair Best reporting. Councillor Olivia Clark of District 4 was elected as vice president. All right, let's head over to Rod Hill for a look at your weather.
I'm in charge, by the way, of the weather this morning. Here's a look at our Vancouver sky camera, the springs at the waterfront. Good visibility. Remember yesterday, the big story was fog, 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 fog. It was really bad, almost all over the place. This morning, generally, visibility is good. We do have a low cloud deck. You can see it there, but not producing any issues. 43 is the number up in Vancouver. Here's the Oregon Zoo camera. Now you're up in elevation about 600 feet, and there you have some fog up in the West Hills. 42 is the number. So again, it kind of depends on where you are. Also, temperatures are varying. 33 out in Forest Grove, but you flip to the east side, it's 41 in Gresham and Troutdale this morning. Everybody is above freezing. I mean, Forest Grove's 33. 37 Albany and 37 degrees down in Corvallis. The deal this morning is, and we'll get more into this coming up in about 5 minutes, but east winds are already starting to develop out of the gorge. Those east winds as soon as 8, 9 o'clock this morning will start blowing into Portland, clearing the low clouds, clearing any fog that we have, and we go on to be sunny. There's no marine layer at the beach today. Tillamook could hit 60 today with sunshine. Now, there is cloudiness out through the Columbia Basin, Pendleton, and right now it's cloudy into the Dow. So this area will be chilly, and that's one of the reasons we'll get east winds fueling out of the gorge. Still sunny and pretty mild up in the Cascades, but not as warm. Yesterday was in the 50s. Some of those areas that were in the 50s yesterday up in the high country could be in the 40s today. 7-day forecast. Once we clear out this morning, we'll be pretty much all sunny all the way into the weekend. We still have no rain chance until we get to Wednesday of next week, and that is your update.